This evening. As I said earlier, my name is Laohis Watkins, founder of Project Stand. And this is the first of our Freedom Night series, and so happy to have to start with SNCC and the women of SNCC. And so honored to have Judy Richardson join us today. So honored to have Jessica Rucker. And just to give a little bit of background, because we have some folks like Jakai here and some other young folks who may not know all the history. And Judy's, as anyone who knows her knows, she has a much longer bio than what I'm about to read. But for time's sake. Judy Richardson was on SNCC staff in Georgia, Mississippi, and Alabama, 1963 to 66. Her experiences in SNCC continue to ground both her film and education work. She most recently produced a Frederick Douglass Visitor Center film for the National Park Services site at Cedar Hill in Washington, D.C. She is currently working on 4 museum films, no slowing down over here, including those for the Civil Rights Museum in Memphis and Atlanta. In 1968, she was the co-founder of Drum and Spear Bookstore, once the country's largest African-American bookstore. She was on the production team for all 14 hours of the seminal PBS series Eyes on the Prize, which is what we're going to watch one of the episodes today. As a series associate producer, then its education director. With Northern Lights Productions, she continued to produce documentaries for PBS, History Channel, and museums. She co-edited Hands on the Freedom Plow, Personal Accounts by Women in SNCC, a compilation of the testimonies of 53 SNCC women. She co-directed 2 NEH Teacher Institutes, co-hosted by Duke University, and focused on teaching grassroots movements in the South, 1940 to 1985. She is a member of the SNCC Legacy Project Board, was a visiting professor at Brown University, and has an honorary doctorate from Swarthmore College, PA. Judy is the boss with the sauce. And now I would like to introduce Jessica A. Rucker. Is a doctoral student. No, let me make sure her youngin', I love that. Is a doctoral student in the Department of American Studies at University of Maryland, College Park, where she is studying Black radicalism. Yes. Jessica is a graduate student instructor, a facilitator with the Zen Education Project. Yes, and a 2022-2023 Prentice Charney Fellow. Prior to Jessica's graduate work, she was a DC high school studies teacher, thank you, department chair and instructional coach, as well as participant in the 2018 National Endowment for the Humanities Summer Teacher Institute at Duke University. She has also volunteered as a docent at both the National Museum of African American History and Culture, which needs our support, y'all, and the National Museum of American History. Jessica resides in her home city, the U.S. colony of Washington, D.C., on the unceded ancestral lands of the next. My tongue will get all stuck. Say that out.
The Nacotch Tank or the Anacostia people.
Nacotch Tank and Anacostia people. Thank you. With her loving partner. Raise your hand. She's like, and we could give these amazing 2 beautiful women. And right now we are going to watch an episode. I'm going to let Miss Judy come to the front and give the introduction for the episode that we're going to look at.
Okay. Can we do this? Yes, we can. Okay. All right. So, I have little notes because the 2 favorite things that I like to talk about are SNCC and Eyes on the Prize. So, I'm going to do this so that we're not here all night. So, first of all, how many people have seen some portion of Eyes on the Prize? Love it. Okay. How many people have actually taught some portion of Eyes? that's great. So, Eyes on the Prize, 14-hour series, PBS, produced by Blackside, which was the black-owned production company founded by Henry Hampton, based in Boston. Also did many other really great programs on the Great Depression, on the War on Poverty, on black arts in the 20th century, lots of stuff. Okay, all for PBS, all multi-part series. Now, what we do in Eyes on the Prize is we storytell the modern civil rights movement through the eyes of those who actually participated in it. So those are the organizers, it is the journalists, it is the government people, it's the media, it's even the white supremacists like Sheriff Clark, right? Everybody. You don't see any scholars. Scholars were really, really important to grounding us, but they are not seen on screen, right? Everything is through the eyes of those who actually lived these experiences. Eyes 1 is 6 hours. It aired in 1987, got an Academy Award nomination. We all went out, we thought we'd get it, we didn't. Anyway, it got all these other awards, including the DuPont Columbia Award for the top award, the Gold Baton, from the Columbia University Journalism School for journalistic excellence. Because we'll go into it, but why we were so clear about how we had to be really, really accurate on stuff. So that first series is 6 hours, aired in 1987, and it goes from Emmett Till and ends in the Selma March in 1965. It includes the Supreme Court decision in '54, the sit-ins, the freedom rides, the Albany student movement, which is, of course, Dr. Bernice Johnson Reagan, SNCC person, SNCC freedom singer, who later becomes founder of Sweet Honey in the Rock, because she comes out of movement. Hello, yes. So all of that is in the first series, ends with the Selma March in 1965. The second series is 8 hours. That aired in 1990, and that begins by grounding us in the Malcolm X story. And Lowndes County, which I came out of, Cortland came out of, Jennifer, a lot of SNCC people. That was a SNCC project. And so that started that series with Malcolm and Lowndes County, and then goes through, you see SNCC's Stokely Carmichael raised the call for Black Power. It goes all the way from basically mid-1960s and ends in 1985 with the election of Howard Washington as the first Black mayor of Chicago. Now, what you're going to see in this, oh, and I should also mention, you would see the assassinations of Black Panthers, Fred Hampton and Mark Clark. You would see the Attica uprising, the Attica prison in upstate New York, because it was considered a civil rights story, the way we tell it, okay, and the way it happened. So, all of that is the 14 hours. It's much easier to get this first 6 hours, but I will tell you, although what you're about to see is part of the first 6 hours, it's the Mississippi segment, and as you know, I was there. So I go down to Mississippi, we move the whole national office, and too much information. See, this is what happens. That's why I have notes.
We love
So,
it.
no, that's all right. We'll get to this. See, I planted her. Yeah. But what you're about to see is the 5th hour. So before you get to this hour, you will have seen the sit-ins, the freedom rides, Emmett Till. And then the one right before this is on educational equity. And then you get to this. And so this is Mississippi. We had to shorten it a little bit because it's a little too long for the available time we have. But I will tell you, when this came out, you didn't have a Stanley Nelson. You didn't have any of the folks who have now done pieces of this. Nobody knew, well, some people do. A lot of people did not know the story of Emmett Till. They didn't know Diane Nash. They did not know the Women's Political Council in Montgomery. All of that comes through Eyes on the Prize. And we'll talk about how, in a minute, in a little bit, how Eyes on the Prize changed the narrative and the way that we saw the civil rights movement. So with that, here we go. Run tape.